Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now basically the middle of August, and as we get closer to the end of this month, that only brings us closer to Star Wars Andor, which by the way guys, is all set and ready to launch on September 21st. There's a lot of fans out there that have mixed feelings about it so far, as well as a lot of fans out there that have a lot of excitement built up for this series. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way guys, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support. It is greatly appreciated. Now, one thing about the new Star Wars universe is that a lot of Star Wars fans out there are very excited about what Favreau and Filoni have stored for, of course, this new franchise, essentially. Basically, they are treating it as something that they are building from the ground up, starting in 2023, with the live-action material, of course. You know, so far for the fall, it's going to be mainly, you know, animated shows. We have Tales of the Jedi, The Bad Batch Season 2, and a lot of that will be expanded, of course, next year as well. Now, on top of all of this, what's really exciting has a lot to do with the fact that Disney Plus Day and D23 this year is going to be the home of a lot of new announcements for Star Wars TV shows and Star Wars lore, as well as Star Wars Celebration next year in Europe that's going to unveil even more projects. So with that being said, however, this brings us all, of course, to actor Pedro Pascal. Now, we talked about this big issue before in the past, and it's still going on behind the scenes, involving the Bo-Katan series and actor Pedro Pascal as Din Djarin, that is no more for that actual show specifically, and we're going to be going over exactly what happened and what is currently happening and some new developments that are actually coming off of this. So with that being said, what's really interesting about all of this put together is that with many new Star Wars projects currently in the works over at Lucasfilm, one of which is described to be in the works behind the scenes over at Lucasfilm that will be officially announced at Star Wars Celebration in Europe. However, it's described that currently one of the big decisions that Disney recently made behind the scenes for the Bo-Katan series, that actor Pedro Pascal was recently fired and let go by Disney CEO Bob Chapek and the executives for the Bo-Katan show, in which Din Djarin is slated to have a handful of scenes for the Star Wars universe. However, it's described that his firing only and only pertains to the Bo-Katan show specifically, and that actor Karl Urban has been in the talks with Lucasfilm for months now of taking up the role of Din Djarin. However, has been denying his involvement to the press, just as Ewan McGregor lied about his involvement in Kenobi. Karl Urban is currently busy with future plans for his hit TV show The Boys, and that Karl wants to become the role of Din Djarin. Now, Disney, however, does not have a backup plan currently, but one of which that they have to fall back on, since Din Djarin is said to have a couple of scenes without the helmet on, and that they are contemplating using a similar deepfake technology that they had done with Luke Skywalker and Book of Boba if Karl Urban ends up not being available. The main reason why Pedro Pascal got let go from the Bo-Katan series is that he was demanding a 25% pay increase to have his helmet off for 80% of the show as well, since Pedro is getting tired of having to hide his face all the time as an actor in The Mandalorian and cannot pull serious roles in Hollywood. Pedro Pascal was also giving Disney executives a hard time about his involvement in the Bo-Katan show and was demanding more screen time in this series for the pay that he was actually being given by Disney. Now, the current code name for the Bo-Katan show is so far labeled simply as Star Wars Mandalore, and is set to evolve the Mandalorian series into a brand new era for the Star Wars fans. Now, Star Wars Mandalore is set to feature a big scene and a couple of others featuring Din Djarin. Karl Urban is still up for the part, however, scheduling conflicts may pose a problem for Disney. Now, let me just pause here for a second. Now, we talked about this a couple of months ago, about the whole Karl Urban and Pedro Pascal situation for the Bo-Katan TV show. The thing about the Bo-Katan TV show that I think intrigues a lot of fans the most is how it's going to go under, so far, the code name is going under Star Wars Mandalore. It sounds like what they're trying to achieve is that they want to actually create a little play on words of The Mandalorian and kind of expanding it into something new and simple to kind of make it sound familiar, but it's going to have a brand new era and new stories involved. Now, as we discussed, this show is going to be announced next year at Celebration. It's going to feature Katie Sackhoff as the main lead in the show, but also featuring a lot of other cameos and a lot of surprises that will be thrown in there. It's going to feature origins of the Mandalore, story, and a lot of other things pertaining to Tar Vizsla, who is both a Mandalorian and a Jedi. So they do want to make this very Jedi-focused as well, and I think the fact that they are basically making Star Wars Mandalore a mixture of Mandalorian and Jedi, this could really open up the gateway to showing us the Mandalorian and Jedi wars. Literally, no joke here, they have the opportunity right there. There's no word on whether or not they're going to do that, but it does open up the gateway of possibilities for that. One thing that they are actually chasing and pursuing right now is they are going to be including the origin of Tar Vizsla. Now, if that ends up being the case, they are, of course, prepared to take the deepfake route for Pedro Pascal, of course, which will make them go a little tad over budget with the series. The series is also set to focus on numerous flashbacks and origin stories to Mandalore and the story of Tar Vizsla that will be told by Bo-Katan in the show. The Mandalorian Season 3 and 4 is said to set up the new Star Wars series that will transform the Mandalorian show into something new. Now, Pedro Pascal is still attached to other shows like Ahsoka, Mando 3 and 4, plus the Book of Boba Fett Season 2, and is set to still actually return in those shows. So just be aware of that. Though Pedro was fired from the Bo-Katan series, this does not mean at all that he is fired in the general sense. He's still involved with Mando 3, Mando 4, Ahsoka, and Book of Boba Fett Season 2. All of which he has signed a contract with. This one in particular, though, he was actually attached to, and he wanted to actually have all these different changes for his character, and it caused a lot of trouble for Disney. It's one of the main reasons as to why the Bo-Katan series was not announced some months back, along with all the other TV shows. So, like I say, this really is a very interesting development. Now, the Bo-Katan series takes place after all the shows currently in the works, and so Pedro was demanding higher pay since it is going to be a more involved job as an actor to return as Din Djarin. And that is true, actually, because they are planning on making Din Djarin have this different story involved in the Bo-Katan show. It's going to be more involved, more stunts, more action scenes, you name it. But that's what stunt doubles are for, by the way. Now, at the end of the day, when you look at things like this, it is a very tough situation, and it comes at no surprise because Pedro kind of gave this problem to Disney with The Mandalorian Season 2 a little bit. It's the main reason why he was really, pushing Disney to give him more scenes without the helmet on, and they settled. They said, let's just give you one major scene without the helmet on, and so they did with the final episode of Season 2 when he parts ways with Grogu. Now, like I say, guys, I would like to hear what you all have to say about the Bo-Katan show. What do you think about Star Wars Mandalore? By the way, that's just the code name of the title. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon we hear them moans again.